All right, hello guys. Hope everybody is doing well. Um, so this is the first assignment for the next week. I'll be posting the assignment on Moodle, um, and I will be seeing you in class soon. So the first assignment will be taking a character from Mixamo and putting it in Maya and then exporting it to Unreal. Also, I would like you to get comfortable with the control rig in Maya, just in case you have to animate the character, in case you don't find anything in Mixamo. So let's get started. I'm gonna choose a character, something nice. I think I took this one last time, which is not bad. Yeah, it's kind of cool, nice character. So you have the choice, you don't have to pick the same character, but you might as well, if you want to follow along the same steps, by all means. So log into Mixamo, download any character that you see. But keep in mind when you're animating, pick something that's character driven. So you'll see in a minute what kind of motion I'll be doing. So keep that in mind, start keeping that in mind. The character that you choose, you should animate in character, kind of, so it'll be much better. Okay, I'll download this. So FBX dagPose, download. In the meantime, I'll create a folder on my desktop. This is going to be my working folder for probably the whole semester. I'll put it in Dawson actually, F21. I'll just delete these and start from scratch. Okay, so I finished downloading. I'll create a folder here called, let's say, downloads. So I know it's coming from the net. So this is the FBX. I'll just put it cut. Go on downloads and rename it to Ninja. It's okay, on downloads it's coming from Mixamo. So I'll merge that in to Maya. You can use Maya 2022 or a later version if you have it at home, it's no big deal. So what we have on import is a skeleton, hip, spine, and the skin. So if I try to rotate one of these spines, see, he's already rigged and ready to go. The legs as well. So everything is ready kind of to animate, but we want to create a control rig from this, obviously. But before we do this, you can see the textures as well if you click on this one. The textures are a bit dark because there's no lights in the scene. We'll go through that after, but you don't have to worry about the textures for now. Before we start, anything to do with the control rig or exporting this to Unreal, I would like you to determine the scale of this character before we do anything. So if the best way to do this, honestly, is to minimize the viewport, go in your front view. Also, before we put a box, I'd like you to check your settings if you're in centimeters or meters. So if you click on this little button here and you go in settings, there's two things I want you to make sure you have. So the working units should be in centimeters and the world coordinates should be in Z up. We need to match what Unreal has in terms of world coordinates. So if your scene has y up, you need to change it to z up before. Okay, so try to do that actually before importing any Mixamo character. Okay, otherwise I think it might flip up. So just make sure you're in z up and then import the character. Okay, so Z centimeters and just click save. The FPS we can change it here, it's no big deal because whatever you're importing from Mixamo will be 30 FPS, so you can just change this here. So you can also change it in the settings, which is animation or time slider right here. So 30 FPS and playback speed is 30 FPS times 1, so that should be there too as well. Okay, so how do we determine if this is the right scale? How big is this guy? Okay, if you go in, let's see if we have. Yeah, that should be fine. NURBS or poly modeling. Go in the poly modeling and just create a small box, and then go in the channel box, and you will see here the scale of this box is 111, which is 1 centimeter. That's why it's so small. So if we click on the scale and we type 100, this becomes 1 meter. So 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. And if we put it up to be flush on the grid, so your character is about 1 meter and maybe 75, something like that. Okay, if you want to find out exactly, just put the box on top of his head. So maybe around here, and look at the Z. So the Z is at 176 in world space. So that's his height, roughly about 176. So I'm happy with that. I don't want to really change it. He's a good height. Doesn't have to be perfectly 2 meters. But if you import a character from Mixamo and he's about like this height, you're gonna need to scale it. So scale it from the top node, which is this. So if you go like this and you scale it, you'll be able to scale him the proper height. Okay. So make sure you have the right scale before you move forward. There's one else. I'll keep this box for later. I'm gonna probably use it a little bit after. Oh, it's okay. We can create it afterwards. One small thing that we need to add before we do anything with this character is we need to add an extra bone on top of the hips, because the way Unreal works, there has to be a reference in Unreal, and that reference of each character, each prop, each let's say even static mesh, that reference has to stay 0, 0 in relation to the world. And then you animate whatever's underneath it. So in this case, we're going to be animating the hips, obviously. So we still want a bone that's on top of this hierarchy that's not moving in Unreal. So it is a requirement. It's pretty easy. There's nothing major to it. All we need to do is go on rigging and add a bone here, create joint. Just click on it once. and just click between his feet. It's fine. And then click on the move tool, and then go in and zero out the translation. So this way, it's in the middle. So this will be our root. So we're gonna call this root, okay? But the problem is now it's still not connected to the skeleton. So the quickest way to make this hierarchy child of the root is you hold down the middle mouse button, okay, the middle mouse, which is the wheel mouse, and you hold it down and then you click and drag on top of the root bone we just created. Okay, what that will do is it will make it child of this. So now when you move this or rotate it, see, it's moving the whole character. So that's what we need to create. We need to create a root and then drag the existing hierarchy to that bone. We might as well name, I'm gonna save the file actually, so let's save it. I can save as. Save your file as Maya ASCII and go in desktop, Dawson, F21, and I'm gonna create a folder here called Maya Assets. So this way I can separate the what's coming from downloads from the internet and the stuff I'm saving locally. Inside I'll create a characters folder because later on we'll be doing props and environments, so you don't want to put everything into one folder and it's going to be a little bit messy. So let's be organized from the beginning. Okay, so desktop, Dawson, F21, Maya, assets, characters. We'll call this guy Ninja. And then one small thing, this is very important to do in Maya, because just in case, let's say you have two ninjas, they're fighting each other, or another character, we cannot keep, it's better to remove this prefix, or it's called the namespace. Right now the default coming from Mixamo is Mixamo rig namespace, so we can easily change that by doing this. So if you go in Windows, General Editor, and Namespace Editor, this lists what's existing in your scene already. Okay, so all you need to do is change this name by double-clicking on it. And let's give him the same name, Ninja. Okay. And see, as soon as you click OK, it names whatever was here on all the nodes, on all the joints, skeleton joints. We might as well add it to the top one, so everything is consistent. And the way to do this, you just need to select the root bone and click Add Select, highlight the Ninja namespace, select the root node, and go Add Selected. So it adds the namespace to the root node. That's all. We save. So now, before we export to Unreal, we can actually export this as is, but we need to do a small step. It's a bit technical, so just keep your ears on for this one. It's a little bit technical. I couldn't find another way. The issue when we added this node is the way the joints and the skinning is the mesh, and the mesh is assigned bones to deform it, right? So let's say the leg, no, oops. See, this mesh is binded to the joints, okay? The problem is when we added this bone, there's no connection yet to this mesh. See, if you look in the channel box of the bones that came from Mixamo, you'll see here something called bindpose skin cluster output, okay? That means it's controlling the skin. But if you select the bone we added, there's no output. So that means when we try to export to Unreal, it's going to give us an error. So what we need to do, we need to delete the existing bindpose, okay, and create a new one with that bone that we created. So the way to do this is you select the mesh, the skin, you right click, you just need to uncheck this, the show DAG Objects Only. I know it's a little bit very obscure, it's not clear, so we just need to do this. It will list a bunch of stuff in there. All you need to do is type in the search in the outliner here. By the way, if you don't see the outliner, if you just see the viewport like this, you just need to click on the show hide outliner right in this button, okay? So in the outliner search, type bind, and you will see the existing bind object in this scene. So all you need to do is delete it. Then clear the history. We remove all because we don't need to see all this, so we just put back the check mark. And the next step is very important. You need, I'm just going to delete this. We need to add it by using, we need to add the bindpose on the bones, on all the bones, by a small script in MelScript. So the way to do this, I found it online, is we need to copy. So these are the steps we just did in the outliner, DAG Objects Only, search bind, delete it, and then we need to select every joint and add this small function, okay? So I basically just copy paste. So it's dagPose -s -bp. So what do? We select the root, we go select children or hierarchy. And then in here, I open up, you can actually paste it here, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you a little trick. So if you open the script editor, which is this little button here, takes a while to open, but make sure you're in Mel, and then paste, and then enter. Okay. I'm gonna move this aside a little bit. So now see, if I click on the bone root, output bindpose, hips, output bindpose, and it has a skin cluster probably from the previous one. So we're all good now. Each one of these bones has a each one of these bones has a bindpose to it, linking it to the skin or the mesh, I should say. Okay, so you don't need, you can, it's really easy. You just need to, every time you import a Mixamo character, a new Mixamo character, you'll need to do this. It's pretty easy. You just need to show DAG, delete the bindpose, and then unshow them, and then type in this. So you can actually create a button in your in your shelves. Okay, So if you still have your script editor and you paste, you can just left mouse click and drag to create a button. It will ask you if you want a Python script, or Python button, or a Mel button. Just choose Mel. So now if you're importing a new character, you do these steps: the show DAG, delete the bind pose, obviously after you create the bone, and then run the script after selecting all the joints. Okay. So anyways, I'll paste this this information as well in the video and in Moodle, so you guys remember the instructions, but it's in the video as well. Okay, so now we can export, we can save, and then we can export this as is before creating the control rig. I'd like to switch to Unreal at this point to show you how to import into Unreal. Okay, so now we can export this file, this Maya file, as an FBX. So if you go File, Export All, I'm gonna choose user defined. I'll choose the Autodesk to go back to default because I need to show you a few things. So choose FBX from the list and edit preset. It's probably already on Autodesk, so just if it's not, just choose it and close. Click Export All. I'll go in Desktop, Dawson, F21, and I will create in my assets, let's call it Ninja 2 Unreal. Okay. Before you click export, I want to show you a few settings here. So geometry is important. I'm not sure about smoothing groups. Let's leave it off for now. I'm not too familiar with the smoothing groups. What we do need to check is animation. Bake will worry about this later. Actually, you don't need animation for now, so we don't need to export an animation, so we can uncheck it. Advanced option, this is important. So if you go in units, it's automatic, so it's going to take the centimeters from Maya. Axis, so this is very important. You need to switch it to Z up as well, because the default Autodesk is Y up, and we're working in Maya in Z up and in Unreal in Z up, so we need to be Z up as well. This is okay, binary, and the last version is okay, should be very compatible. Everything else should be good. So Maya assets, characters, export. No errors, so we're good to go. Let's switch to Unreal. So when you let's see, Epic. So if you're new to Unreal, you open up the Epic launcher. Hopefully everybody has an account and ready to go. You have to go to Unreal Engine, Library. If you haven't downloaded 4.26.2, please download already. And after it's installed and everything, just click Launch. After you launch, you will get a page like this. I have a bunch of projects already, so I will show you the recent projects on top. Let's create just a blank project, and we go next. We go blank as well. There should be a couple of templates here. I'm not sure why it's not showing. Maybe they deleted it on the new on 4.26. Keep these by default. It's okay. We're not going to use a lot of them. If you have an old PC, maybe scalable 3D. That's okay. Keep everything by default. Ray tracing disabled. We don't have the machine powerful enough to do that. In here, so we can change the path where we're going to save the project. So Unreal works with a project, and inside the project you can have multiple levels. Okay, so I'm going to choose a different folder. I'll choose the same folder structure, Dawson F21. So in here I can create a new folder called Unreal, because downloads Maya assets and Unreal. And inside of it, I'll create a project called, let's say, maybe actually we can put everything in there. Let's say week 2. Let's start with week 2. It's fine for now. Select. So F21 Unreal week 2. And we call the project week 2. Okay. Create project. Okay, so it's gonna take a little bit of time because my PC is a little bit old. Hopefully it shouldn't take that long. I'll check if it's everything's still recording. Okay, good. Okay, it's not that bad. You're probably gonna get small plugins missing. Just click dismiss. It's okay. So quick overview. In here on the left side you have some like basic primitives like you have in Maya on the shelves. You can drop a cylinder if you want. You can drop a couple of different primitives. To navigate in the viewport, you have some lights, you have some cinematic cameras. I'm hoping to use one of these cameras to render out the animation we're going to do. So to move in Unreal, if you hold down the right mouse button and you click WSAD, that's how it's kind of like a first-person shooter. You can also, let's say we add a sphere. You can also rotate around it like this, or if you hold down Alt, you need to zoom in actually. If you press F, you can zoom in on the selected object, and then you hold down Alt and you rotate or orbit around it, just like Maya. Wheel mouse button to zoom in and out, and pan is the middle mouse. Cool. So what's nice about the blank page is it gives you already a skybox. If you look, it's pretty cool. In here, in the world outliner, you will see what's in your scene already. So you have kind of a parent node, I believe the level. And you have the atmospheric fog, the floor, which is this object, the glow cube, light source. I believe this has night and day. Anyways, we'll go through those after. Play start is if you press play, you will start right in the middle of the object. This is where you spawn. Sky sphere is your skybox. And skylight is another type of light with, actually this one is the night and day, I believe. It's really cool. We can go through that in the sphere sphere reflection capture. I'm not sure what's that. That could be the skybox, same thing as the sky sphere. Those could be related. Let's see if I highlight. This could be just a reflection. This is actually the skybox. So you can hide and unhide with the little eye, just like Photoshop. So that's what's in your scene, and this underneath is what the details of that object when you highlight it. In here, by default, it's probably going to be hidden. So if you click this Show Hide Sources panel, this is what's available in your project. So if we go to the folder we just created where the project is, week 2, you will have, this is your project name, week 2, and inside of it is the content folder, which is right now is empty. There's nothing in it. So now if we create, right click, new folder, and call it characters, you can either create it here or in Windows Explorer. See, we just created the characters and it pops it in the same folder. This is like a mirror, right? So now let's see, actually I've never tried it here. So if I create a Ninja folder here, there we go, it pops in. So you can either create it here or here. So now we're ready to, we can import our FBX that we exported, right? So we go to the folder, we go to F21, Maya Assets, Characters, and we want to import this, right? Not the Maya file, always the FBX. I don't believe Unreal reads Maya files. Okay, so Ninja to Unreal. I'm gonna restore to default. So just quickly, what's going on here? What is a skeletal mesh? Skeletal mesh is anything related to skinning and joints. So anything that's animated by joints, you need to have a skeletal mesh on. Okay. If you just want a static mesh, you just unclick it and it can import it. So the difference between a skeletal mesh and a static mesh, skeletal mesh is animated with bones, and static mesh is just an object like let's say a rock or environment or a building, stuff like that. So you want to import the mesh of the skeletal mesh, obviously. So if you have this on, this one has to be on. You leave this one on, so you want the geometry and the skinning ways. The skinning ways is you'll find out in the rigging class what skinning is. It's basically all these vertices in Maya. Each bone is influencing a certain number of vertices. Okay. This one is not important now because we're creating our first character. Well, it's more important when we import animation. Okay. We don't need this because we're not importing animation yet. The important thing you need to do in this section, by default it's closed, so you need to click on this little arrow, and this one by default it's off. So what that means is take the pose that's coming in from the FBX as your reference pose. Okay, if we don't click this on, the character will be upside down. So you need to click it to be so that the character is upright, just like in Maya. Okay. Don't ask me why. That's how it works. If you don't, the character will be like lying on the ground. Everything else stays the same. So this will be saved the next time you import, so you don't have to do this every time. So that's a nice plus. And then we can click import all. Again, it's gonna take a little bit of time. I'm hoping to get a new laptop that's 3D friendly soon. No smoothing group, that's okay, we don't care. The one file, as you can see, 1FBX equals 8 files actually. So you have the texture, the normal map, specular, materials, skeletal mesh. This is the one we're going to be working with most of the time. So when you see skeletal M, this is the file that has the skinning, the mesh, and the joints in it. So if you open this up, this is our Ninja dude. It's a little choppy because it's probably computing the textures and shaders. Not sure why it's a little choppy. It wasn't like that before. Anyways, this is our character. It's working, and these are all the joints. See, this is the root between his feet at 0, 0, and then the hips, and everything else we see in Maya. Okay, so let's save this. This little asterisk means it hasn't been saved yet. So if we go File, Save All. Okay, so it's asking me where I want to save the level. So what is a level? Level is this, what you see in the viewport. Anything in your viewport. So all these content will be living in a level. Okay, so let's create a new folder called levels, and we'll come back to it afterwards. So now we can go save all. I'm gonna save my level here, call it week 2 as well, that's okay. And it's saving the Ninja as well when you click save all. So see here, it actually created the, so like I said before, a project can contain many levels. The levels, when you create a new level from here, it starts from scratch. You start from this empty, or you want to call it like just a plain setup. There's nothing in it. Okay. If we look at the Ninja stuff, also it's saved, and you have the equivalent here, right? Let's double check content. So characters, Ninja, all these, everything Unreal is .u asset. So that's what which shows up. Levels as well is in here. Okay, so we have our character in T-pose ready to add animation to it. Okay, so I'm gonna create a super, oops, I just launched Motion Builder. Okay, so I'm gonna create a really super fast animation using the control rig in Maya. Right now we don't have a control rig, we just have the skin and the joints. We can't really animate with it, or it's gonna take us a really long time. So what do? You see this little button here? If you're not in animation workspace, switch it to animation. Okay. And let me just kill Motion Builder. I think it's in here. Oh, that's weird. Didn't show up. Maybe it's still running. That's right there. Okay. So switch workspace to animation. Click on this little button here, toggle character control. Okay, so click on it. And what we want to do is we want to create, the first thing we need to create is a character definition. Okay, so we want to, those of you who remember Emotional, it's actually the same control rig as in Motion Builder. They imported it into Maya. So that's the quickest way to get a control rig up and running is using that. You don't have to create all the shapes and the IK and everything. You don't have to do that. So toggle character control, select one bone, the top bone, and then click create character definition. So the first step is we need to tell the joints where in the character definition they are. Okay, we need to basically assign all these joints to the character definition. So on this, and the quickest, easiest way is, you see this little folder here called load skeleton definition. Maya already comes with a preset or a template, if you want to call it. You just need to load it up. So select one bone, load, and in here you have a bunch of templates. So just use the HIK. Okay, and it should, if you've selected one bone, it should already preload the prefix, you know, the namespace. So just choose match all bones with prefix ninja blah blah blah, ninja semicolon. Okay, and then click OK. See, the skeleton that comes from Mixamo is already preloaded with the good naming conventions, and that template we just chose, the HIK, connects to it automatically. So that's all you need to do, just load it up and match whatever whatever prefix you have. So everything is there, the fingers, the toes, everything. We can add the root bone as well. We could. I believe it's in here, and you just need to select it, select the root bone, select this one, reference, right click and assign selected bone. So now everything is green. See, neck, spine, everything is there. Okay, and the next step is we go source. Right now source is being driven by the joints, so we just need to create a control rig. Okay, so now sadly the control rig is inside the mesh. I'll show you in a bit. Actually, I forgot one thing. So just to make things easier, we're going to create a layer with the mesh to be able to hide it and unhide it. Okay, so if you go on channel box, select the mesh, channel box, layer editor, go on the display tab and click on this little thing, create new layer and assign selected object. Okay, just click on it. And now creates a layer with this object. So now you can hide and unhide or freeze it. I believe it's this one or this one. Let's see. If I click on, no, that's not it, I think. I forgot what these buttons do. Yeah, T, oh sorry, R. Not sure what it stands for. R, I think it just freezes the mesh, so you don't select it by mistake. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. So now that we have I'm gonna go back to the human IK tab. Now that we have a control rig, see here, if I select the let's say the hips, and move it. See, now I'm moving the control rig. I'm gonna remove the pinning so you guys can see that it's actually moving with IK and everything. See, it's a working control rig. The thing is, you can make the if you like working in the viewport instead of the picker, and you want those IK controllers bigger, all you need to do is, see, this is the control rig right here in the outliner. By the way, you can change the prefix as well. So instead of character 1, we could just name it to, rename character to Ninja. So it will be Ninja control reference, Ninja control hip, left arm, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So in able to make those IK controllers bigger, all you need to do is select this all the way down to the hips. You don't need the thumbs and the pinky toes. Maybe you need the hips as well. And then you go in channel box. Oh, the hips don't have the same properties. It's okay, we'll do the hips separately. So select everything except the hips and the thumbs. And in here, the radius, just put 5 or whatever you're comfortable with, okay? So now you can see this is the hand IK, this is the elbow IK, this is the feet, and this is the toes. Let me see. Yeah, so this is the ankle, right? Yeah. So we can do the same with the hips, radius. Yeah, see, it doesn't have the same properties, that's why. Or maybe bigger for the hips. Wow. That's strange. Why is it not? Box. Can change the shape of it. Boom. It's okay. Let's go with box. At least we can see it now. It's a little weird. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, it's workable. Anyways, try to use the picker. It's a lot easier. And if you prefer using the picker, you can just hide these controllers completely by doing this. So here, show hide FK, show hide IK. So now you just have the mesh and you can animate like this. Okay, so we're kind of ready. I'm just gonna do some quick poses. I'm not gonna go too crazy because I don't want to go over an hour. And I'll show you how to export it to Unreal. Okay. Okay, so we saved this, the Ninja, with the control rig and the joints and everything. But now we're ready to animate, so we want to animate. So I don't want to animate with the same file. I want to keep this in the characters folder as a T-pose in case something wrong happens with, you know, if I'm keep animating with the same file that I created for the T-pose and something mistake happened, sometimes you cannot go back. So when you're starting to animate, save it as something else. Save it as, let's go up. So Maya assets, so I'm gonna create a folder here called anims. And I'm gonna call this, it's okay, Ninja Week 2, okay? Just in case you create an animation per week. So Ninja Week 2, I know it's an animation file because it's in the anims folder. By the way, I tried referencing I tried referencing these files, like we can reference control rigs, and I've encountered some issues. It's probably because of the human IK control rig, or could be control. No, I think you can reference normal control rigs, but the human IK one is special because it has some extra things probably in the background. So I wasn't able to reference it because of the time editor. So we'll be working without referencing, unfortunately. But I'm sure the other classes will teach you how to use referencing in Maya. But for our class, we won't use it, unfortunately. Okay, so I found this cool animation. I'm gonna try to do it in the next 10 minutes. The reason I chose this is next week I'd like to show you how you can mix a keyframe animation. By the way, to step frame by frame in YouTube is comma and dot. Okay, so if you click dot, you go forward, comma, you go backward. Okay, okay, let's have some fun. So I'm gonna create a box. I'll do maybe like 3 poses. All right. Modeling. I'll put a plane in first for the floor, so I can scale. Okay, it's this way. Channel box. And I'll put a box so you can jump off of it. And I'll put 100. Okay. And so let's say he jumps off from here. Go back to human IK. Take my character. So right now, if you guys remember from Motion Builder, you have three kinds of keying. You have the full body, you have the body part, and this one. This one is really buggy. I'm not sure how buggy it is in Maya as well, but stick to these two. So full body, you'll be able to keyframe the whole control rig. Put a key on all the body parts. So I want to be able to move him up there. As you can see, the hips and the feet are in IK. So if I try to release the feet, let's see what happens. Yeah, I can move him. I can, if this is bothering you, you can just hide it, select the bone, and go Control H. Okay, you can still see, you can see in the outliner it's hidden now. If you want it back, it's Shift H. Okay, but we're probably not gonna need it for now. Okay, so the other shortcut to unpin is use this button. So right now, again, if I try to move, see his feet are pinned. So if I want to release it temporarily, you just click on this little button, release all pinning. So what happens is now you can move it freely. Okay, so okay, let's stop posing quickly. So I have this pose. He's kind of anticipating to jump, so I'm gonna put him 1 foot forward. Right, it's pretty easy. Maybe tilt the hips a little bit, and then press S So see now, all the body parts have a key now because I'm in full body. Okay, I'll rotate the hips, the spine, sorry, as well. I'll put down the arms. Okay, so right now, yeah, so right now I'm rotating with world rotation. You can switch to object, which is local. Okay, you see the difference? See, it's the world rotation is straight, but if you switch to local, it's actually the pivot of the bones. Okay, so now if I switch to object, which is local, I can rotate down the arms. Okay, and then I take the arms. Whoops. See, I chose the FK bone instead of the IK effector, so that's what the one I need. The elbow collapses a bit, so we can fix that. Whoops. We can IK the arms and just bring out the elbow to fix the breakage, kind of. Same thing here. So technically this arm should be back because his right foot is forward, so the opposite should be happening with the arms. Okay. Okay, that's good. I'm doing it really fast. I don't want to go over too much. So he's kicking off with the leg here, so we can try to create something like this. Always use reference, please. Don't try to keyframe something from scratch. So we can go like maybe to frame 10 or 15. And then we can release the arms, the hands, because we don't need them. We need them to follow now. So see the difference? Now the arms follow. And we can actually release this one because he's kicking off with the back leg, right? Let's double check. Yeah, his weight is on the front leg and he's kicking off with the back leg. Okay, so hips forward. Probably his hips are way down. Let's check. Yeah, his hips are rotated completely now. Okay. Okay. And then we take this leg and just bring it up. We can actually push it a little bit. Let's see. If we remove the pinning on the rotation and we move the hips up more, okay, I see what's happening. We're probably going to need to pin this one and remove the pinning on this one. So this way, what happens, the pinning happens only on the toes. See? So what I just did, I removed the pinning on the ankle and I kept it on the toes. So when I move up the hips, the ankle now will follow, but the toe will be pinned. So it's not a bad way of working because you can kind of turn them on and off. I'll rotate this one a little bit. What's his upper body doing? So he's kind of really tucking in, kind of. Let's tuck him in more. But his arms are going forward. So let's try to move them both at the same time. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, I didn't key. What happened there? Yeah, I probably didn't kill. Okay, that's good. And now the big tuck. Yeah, we can do this pose. Maybe that's the highest, probably. And the jump. But look at the hips; they're going up, and then he starts going down afterwards. Okay, so let's do the tuck. Something like this. And maybe go to, let's say, 25. We can modify these poses after, it's not a big deal. So now we can release, we could probably release everything because we want he's going up and rotating, right? So we can do this. Oh wait, is he going sideways? Oh yeah, okay, so he's going sideways. He's kind of rotating. His head is down. Yeah, we can try that. It's hard to tell, it's a little bit blurry. So yeah, if you can find like a really clear video, maybe shot at high FPS, that would be always better. Okay. Oh, it's recalculating every time. That's strange. Well, he has to be a little bit higher. It's probably recalculating because I'm in full body. Anyways. So, feet tucked. And we can do this. Yeah, it's probably I'm not gonna have enough time to fix all the breakage on the limbs, but you get the point. The whole idea is to give you kind of. I'm gonna pin the elbow, the knee, and move the. That's why. Okay, now if I move this and tuck those in together, if I switch to body part, no. Oh, it's because this one is pinned. I'll move these two. It's because this one is pinned. So just be careful, don't forget where you pinned them. How many you pinned? I think it's okay. Maybe it's too much. And I think now the spine is completely in a ball, kind of. Yeah. Can try to fix the elbows, the knees. They look a little bit broken. Yeah, it's a little bit better. And I'm sure his hands are touching his thighs. Can we bend it more? It looks strange. Okay, so probably it's not. It's a little bit disproportionate. So he's kind of tucking and holding his thighs, right? It's okay for now. Okay. We go to the next frame. He finishes the turn and maybe this pose before landing, because for sure if we just keyframe the landing, it's gonna be too. Let's try it. We can try. We can just do a pose like a compression pose here at the bottom. We'll see if we're gonna need an in-between. Oof, the leg. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, we're missing an in-between. Yeah, we definitely need an in-between there. Yeah. It's not blending well. Let's go maybe to 45-ish and then finish the turn. So unpin everything and oops, full body. Oh, again, it didn't save the. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, maybe because I was in body part. Is it possible? So as the full body sometimes starts moving the other parts. It's probably because the pose settings. I saw it somewhere. I saw it somewhere. Okay, never mind. I'll look into it more on this side. So if you switch to body part on that frame, I'm just gonna redo the pose because it doesn't look like it saved it. So see the difference if you're in body part and you're moving the body parts, you're not affecting the other ones, so it's a little bit better. I just want to see if it's saving or not. Okay, looks like it saved it. This arm is okay, but this arm, no. Yeah, I need more poses. So okay, let's try to finish it up. I'll just do a landing pose here. I'm gonna try, I've never tried this, copy and go here, paste. Let's try full body, copy. Yeah. So now we copy paste the pose, but we need to move it in space. Make sure pinning, release pinning is on, and we just go like this and put him down on the ground like this. So let's see what that looks like. We only need 50 frames, so 1 to 50, and press play. Yeah, see, we need an in between. He doesn't finish the rotation, so we'll create a quick just want to try to make it a little bit better. definitely need this pose. I think this is way too slow. Right, so we can make another pose here where he's finished the rotation. And he's rotating the other side, so he needs to rotate. Okay, I'm just gonna delete these two and just keep, because the problem is we pasted the last pose and the rotation is already going there. So it's better to keep the rotation going from the previous pose so that the interpolation will be better. Okay, so all we need to do is go like this, move. So now because he starts falling. Let's see what that looks. Why is he rotating the other side? He's taking the closest. Okay, let's take a look at the graph. Yeah, he's going the other side. This is okay. The X. So if we try to move this one, I'm going to switch to world to see if it interpolates a little bit better. Let's still go on the other side. Okay. No, it's not working. It's gimbal lock. Ooh, I just moved the key. Let me see the axis. how it's going. Okay, I need to find the gimbal lock in Maya because I'm not 100% sure where. I think it's in here somewhere. Tangents, keys, curves. Okay, I'm not gonna waste too much time. I'll just use these 3 keys for now because I don't want to take it more than, it's already more than an hour. So I'll just show you how to export these keys to Unreal. So and I'll figure out the gimbal lock issue on my spare time. So just create like 3 poses just to get comfortable with the controller. I'm not looking for an animation, complete animation sequence. Or sorry, an animation that goes from start to end. Just create like 3-4 poses. If you want to have more and have fun with it, please by all means do it. Just be careful of the rotations. If you do like 180 flips, you're probably gonna encounter some similar issues that I'm having. So I'll try to figure that out on my own. Okay, so I'm gonna save this and I'll show you how to export this animation, okay, to Unreal, because that's the end goal of this exercise. So what we export to Unreal is the skeleton. We don't export the control rig, which is the human IK control rig. We export the joints. Okay, so you can select the root and then select hierarchy, and now you go File, Export Selection, FBX, and we can put it in anims exported. This way we distinguish anims exported. Okay. This way we distinguish the anims we save in Maya and the anims we export to Unreal. We export to Unreal. So it's better to keep it organized like this. Week 2 Ninja flip, let's say. Okay. Oh, I forgot one thing. Let's do it again. File, Export Selection, Ninja flip. So in here, in the animation tab, you'll need animation and you'll need bake. So what bake does, it will bake the translation rotation of the joints. Right now the joints are moving, right, with the control rig, because we defined them before. Okay, so you need the bake, and you need to, by default it should take whatever's on the timeline and put it here. So if it's not, just make sure you're exporting from 1 to whatever animation that you did. So animation, bake, make sure the time frame, export. Should be good. Okay, don't worry about this. I think it's fine. Complex animation, yeah. It's probably because of the bake. Okay, we go back to Unreal and we create a new folder called anims. Okay, because we don't want to import it with the character, the T-pose character skeletal mesh we just did. We want to separate them as well. Okay, anims, whoops. No, we're in the wrong folder. We're in desktop, Dawson, 21, my assets, anims exported. Okay, we drag and drop. So in here, this is the thing I was talking about earlier. This animation, you need to assign a skeletal mesh, basically a skeleton with a mesh in it. So in your project, it will list everything in your project available. So this is the Ninja to Unreal skeleton that we just imported 30 minutes ago. You select it. If you have more than one character, you will see the list, and you just need to select the proper one. And then you leave pretty much everything as is, okay? Should be okay, and then you click import. Import all if you let's say have multiple animations, but it's okay. Always click import all. It should work. So yeah, the animation is in. We just need to double click on it. And this is the animation we just did in Maya. I know it's not finished, but so you can see the joints here. So you see the joint, the root is still at 0, 0. It hasn't moved, but the hips and everything else is matching. This is why we needed to create the root bone. It has to have a reference inside the engine. Okay, that's it. So let's save this. And what you can send me the Maya file and maybe just take a screenshot of this screenshot or video of this, of the animation playing inside Unreal. Okay, you can either use OBS to screen capture it, or if you want to record it with your phone on the screen and just send me the file. All right guys, I'll post this soon and we'll talk. All right, have a good day.